corpse looks at you with bulging white eyes. The face around them does not look human. It's swollen and ready to burst. His lips off, you seem to be holding your breath. A cargo belt twists his neck at an unnatural angle. The body below appears stiff. It's letting out an ungodly rot. The smell seeps in, even through your clenched nostrils.
Active decay. It's okay to throw up, officer. No one is judging.
He's about to blow! Cock's gonna blow, Kuno!
The smell is repulsive. It pushes in from your mouth, more instant and more familiar than... Too late. It's impossible to keep in. Your body curls and pushes it out, burst by burst, until a pool of vomit lies under your feet, and your throat stings from the stomach acid.
It's okay. Happens to everyone. Keep it. The hangover is clearly making this worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head. If you can handle the headache, some officers use it to deal with cadaverine odor. I can't handle the headache.
It's more likely he can handle the smell, unlike you.
That young woman, the gardener, mentioned she used salts for the smell. If she doesn't have any, there might be some in the fridge store nearby.
Acquiring ammonia will provide a modifier to the white check. Modifiers make checks easier and allow you to retry them.
Kuno, the pig's getting pretty close to me. Come to snuff my shit out, I think. Looks like it's time for me to go, Kuno. Pig's come to take me. I'm going away for a long, long...
What's going on there? Fuck are you trying to pull, pig?
Stay away from me, pig!
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, eternite. It's nothing. Someone just left some roofing material slanted against an old shack. Because it's nice and orderly, well laid. No, there's more to this. You get this strange, hard to say. It's gone now. Feelings pass, you see, especially the small ones. You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic. Cop habit. This isn't case-related, you think. Hard to say. Your vision is blurred and you're having difficulty concentrating thanks to your relentless hangover. No, these tracks are not interesting at all. Let the street sweeper just sweep them.
It's raining again. It was clear just an hour ago. Sure, I'm done with them. Go easy on that stuff. It gave me a terrible headache. Excuse me?
She's uncomfortable. Maybe you should drop this line of questioning.
Oh. Well, I didn't write it there. I'm just sitting here. Okay.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that. The ammonia only makes it worse. The second time, not so much. When the vomiting is done, your cheeks are wet with tears.
無理なんだけど。
Nor does the wind right now.
The weight is reassuring, like a crenel on solid fortification. Pat.
I've seen strong men turn themselves inside out for hours. You are facing tough odds here. Alcohol withdrawal makes it considerably harder. I've seen captains puke their guts out. It never gets easier. You never get used to the smell. Every Monday is cadaver day. Throw up, investigate, throw up, then drive to the station. Maybe throw up on the way there if you didn't bag the thing tight. I think I've lost my sense of smell. Not being hungover helps too. That's probably a good idea. Clear our heads. You need to get your shit together. We should go talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind changes. It's pretty bad right now.
You've gained a thought. When this dialogue is over, go to your thought cabinet and internalize it for special bonuses and effects.
Give it half an hour. Get yourself together. Then come back and have another go.
Life doesn't need to be a struggle. I'll be with you in a moment, officer. Let me just finish my sandwich.
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time.
René, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please.
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. No, you got this. There's the ball. You're the game. You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter, you'll make it work. The cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it. Already your muscles are adjusting to the weight. The nervous system. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, an embodiment of pure motion. Some would still say you're a cop, but I guess we're beyond that now.
Merde! Bordel de merde! What the hell is your problem? You vandalized our game, son! We can't play pétanque with 5 bull! No! We are not good, goddammit! We want our...
Take it easy, René. This is just a misunderstanding.
Of course there's harm done, you orange slug! You owe us a goddamn bull! Good! Mistakes are forgiven, but men at least try to right their wrongs. I believe you will try. Now why did you approach us? Unfortunately I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about... In Martinez, the union is the law. So cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring... If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't.
This is a man with a lot of past, but little present, and almost no future.
Yes. The terrain here provides an interest. I do. Fire from heavy artillery. Why what? Because that's what happens when communists hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy... Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like. They just chose the name to feel special. Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped because this place is a damn beachhead. Had to soften it. Yes, the military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revel. Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta. This here is Blood Ground, where coalition boots first made landfall.
Blood ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs, but the enemy of my enemy and all that. They're the less... Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on the city. The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument.
Well, it's your own damn fault. You, we, the coalition...
You don't even begin to truly understand the players of...
Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one.
Preposterous! Surely you don't mean it. I'm just sorry it had to be them. After 8 years of fighting those, I would have preferred if the right honorable king...
This royal failure weighs heavily on him.
Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful. This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted. Damn Fricelle. He was a king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him. And
He slouches as he says that. It makes him smaller, admitting they left the king to the...
a true king in both blood and mind led Revachol before Fricelle. He would have been better, but the damn suzerain is the king. Has everyone forgotten already? It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire.
All you observe is a veteran
This is the uniform of the royal...
Don't you mean Frick?
You do not speak his name, Craven.
There's something you missed. You will get to it. Don't worry. This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum. The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic.
Probably some kids.
A simple but clever solution to ruin in a coin-operated viewer. It took ingenuity. A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk. Written under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast. You know this to be the star of Periconesus, or the Cairo, the central symbol of the Periconesian church. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the window. Around the large wooden building, you see chunks of sea ice gathered on the beach. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbor. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her...
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the...
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. The lieutenant is...
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group. Why, yes I am. Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou. We are. And the city of Revachol is on the island of... I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a... It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for...
She's having a good time arguing against the law. Too good, perhaps.
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati, 19.
The word, it, feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name.
It's a pleasure craft. A 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Okay. How about Cordelati 19? Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cordelati, and its hull is 19 paces long. Why Dolores? Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the factory name. But thank you for the suggestion. My sloop? I like it a lot.
I'm enjoying this part of...
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Officer, I assure you I'm a high...
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain. White. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act. A law that says she doesn't need a license.
Good. What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking. The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See, and that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone. Son Baptiste, LUM, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
Why, thank you. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can...
$1 billion?
20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 7... A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000? They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the centuries of care, deliberation and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. You know more than you let on. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo tribes have failed or been absorbed. To survive, Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners? Who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose...
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments that gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. Why? By throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the Coalition. Unfortunate, but I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago. Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent organization now. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first...
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss.
This isn't the first time the union has gone...
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive. Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing.
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. Every worker, a member of the board. Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group. They're having a blast. But how can they afford... I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just there. And now, people are getting lynched.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, call me mañana.
This checks out.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about... Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does. And when one's term as foreman is... It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see. With a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish organized labor at its best, as they say. Then...
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be...
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, and your opinion, detective, if I may ask. I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Indeed, and a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Indeed. The company suspects foul. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of...
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lut, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will soon.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. Oh dear. Some kind of I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't...
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an...
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't...
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. I mean, favors for favors. A dirty alliance of some sort. Feelings will guide the way.
I assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible. Trust me, officer, I am fully committed to resolving this impasse. This isn't some side gig for me.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
Officer. You know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to...
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting in.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbor. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete surprise to... Or you can find your badge.
Detective, a word in private before we continue. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and you know, not volunteer us to be her henchman. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we're setting... What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching. I'm sure you will, Detective. Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large, and you could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? This reality? Ah, yes.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions...
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smither... I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here. This place used to be a province. A workers' resort before... It's not really a sea. It's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay... Yes. We're on an island...
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités. Vast, lukewarm, and unknowable. Flowing in and out.
Caillou, as you already know.
It is clear this pebble is and to humanity at large.
Revachol? Revachol is what you call the great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory. Beyond patriotism. A fact.
History, detective. They built this city to resolve the nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and in the DeLorean century. 380 years ago. They say it's where the terrible questions of our time... By that I mean conflicts. Ideological We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people. In the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is. Oh, we're quite a way off. About 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That's...
Silence. The water, the light. There is no recognition. Only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need.
Was there something else you wanted to know?
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask. Might I suggest not asking them all right now?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service. These are unimportant times, Detective. For the big time. The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next. Who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle. Those would be the communists. Generally speaking. Oh, and the anarchists, too. Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people. Yes. The Red Deluge. The Insulindian Deluge, they call it. Oh, lots of people. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. Yes. King Guillaume had a nose for him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist... The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution. They didn't win so much...
She's one of them.
To foreign intervention. The Coalition. Those people really took the mineral. The Liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The Coalition took the Coalition of Nations.
There is bitterness in her voice.
The Moralists believe in keeping everything, at least not in the same manner and volume. This is their zone of control.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky.
A devout man of the center. Hard to come by. It's good to have someone who takes a moderate approach to head shooting. In your line of work, the turn of the century, the revolution began. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat. It made people overthrow their governments. Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Why? You and I, officer. Our lives...
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on a city-state divided into free market...
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery community 43 years. Hard to fathom, I know. The 20s saw a decade of urban war. The 30s? Things settled down in the No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. Welcome to reality, baby. Good question.
No, her first.
And I asked you, past-less detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight had... So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with the technology 50 years ago? Good hygiene. Really. When they failed to step...
Opinions expressed here do not...
And what is your official position?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would...
Understandable. They are what they are, anyway.
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
It's a neurological...
She conveys it in short, cold birth, in case he goes down later, souring the entire portfolio.
It's not just me, Detective. All of Martinez has placed its chips on your success. I pray... Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
She nods.
Yes, and perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie, out in the open somewhere.
It remains a mystery what you mean by this something close. This isn't about you. It's about... She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind. Haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king. I can see you thought I'd gone extinct. No sane person identifies as...
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
I do hope so. I hope we're able to remain collegial despite it. Remember, when the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed. With due respect to I would not have relinquished sovereignty.
She realizes her small, cold...
Then for my daughters, we had an obligation.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
Perhaps. Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot.
Seditious talk, man.
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions? Ah. This or two. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once Splat, splat. Wonderful. The girl in the old lady rags. Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infra... Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant. She prefers a fantasy world. An infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the... I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's... All right. What next?
A strange coldness comes over you. It's on the tip of your tongue. A doubt.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? Of course, Detective.
Trying to sneak up, pigs come to take me out. Trying to snuff me out. Don't get fucking clever with me.
You see, a a young man on a balcony.
Not looking for any trouble, officer. I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie, if that's okay. I just want to
Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Is it really that important?
Like a nervous cat. He keeps...
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run. I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme.
We will remove the body as soon as possible.
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you? No, not you. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
You didn't answer the question.
It was my Sunday friend.
Makes sense. Friends are nice on Sunday. You don't have to work. You can just spend time with pal. He doesn't reply. Gesturing no with his cigarette.
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
Martin Martinez? Good local name. Let's go with that.
No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
This isn't the place or time for questions. Who knows who might be watching from the distance, hidden behind the curtains. For a moment, the man on the balcony seems almost vulnerable.
I am sorry, but I really don't have the information you're looking for.
But, hold on. What's that? For a split second, his hand lingers, as though gesturing towards a stone placed right next to the front door. It's a sign.
Good luck with the investigation.
He's gone. No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself. He could be a witness. Him or his son. He did leave us a sign. Did you see that? He wanted to draw up. If we find a way inside the building, we can ask around for his apartment.
A stone, like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet and mud. There's a key beneath it, rusty.
This must be for the front door. Pity he doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has many apartments and the man can be in any. We'll just have to go in and see.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. You have no clue. It's just a wall. So many walls. There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now.
耐久力
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell, emitting it. Ha ha ha. Every time it happens, it gets worse and worse. There's nothing more to throw up now. All that's left is crying and convulsing dryly at the same time. The lieutenant is clearly at...
Officer, you just need to be stronger. Learn to keep it in.
You can open this white check again by going to your character sheet and spending a skill point to upgrade your endurance. Gain...
Relax. It's okay if you don't make it today. The bloated corpse isn't going anywhere. You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plot.
Welcome to Revachol.
Don't you welcome to Revachol me. Every school of thought and government has failed in the city, but I love it not. It's men like you who keep Revachol divided, making it that much harder for everyone to climb out of this post.
Oh, come on, man. I just said welcome.
I know exactly what you meant. You think but you see, I'm an officer of the RCM.
Silence. That your partner needs backup. Now's your moment to shine.
I haven't learned anything I didn't know before.
The lieutenant exhales and resumes.
Whatever you say, officer.
You could ask him to show you the soles of his boots. He definitely looks like someone capable of a lynch.
It's about not the most popular topic nowadays, with a coalition in charge, you know. You might want to change the topic. That is, bury your head under the sand like common sheep. People who've studied these things say that you and me are superior by design, so naturally, lately we Occidentals have experienced an unfortunate downturn when members of the superior. This concerns you, policeman, so you better be vigilant. The damn kids are showing up good lately. Same with the mosquitoes. And the other intruder species too. They're on the It's what the kips of Boogie Street are going for, right under our noses. And the other... It's true. Also, you need to realize the dangers of mixing races. Who knows what might happen if people don't stay in their birthplace? You might end up with a new sub-race, with unknown characteristics, leading to extra competition. Don't push your luck, Runt. Looking for something, Runt? Come to tell me to fuck off again? Oh, not much anymore. I'm here to pick up some car. The strike? Oh, they've been at it for a while. A month. 2 apples. Yeah, apples.
He's given you the runaround. Let's be honest. You were bested.
Been admiring the stompers, Runt? For sure.
On the bottom of the man's boots, you see an intricate tangle of treads with no immediately discernible.
It's Revachol. Custom made. Cost me a pretty penny. You'll see when the time comes, officer. True patriots carry Revachol.
Technically, you're stomping.
I know you people don't understand poetry.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle.
Oh, that's the tear machine. It's a machine for tear. You know, you find tear outside, like bottles or whatever, and put it in the machine. You need a bag, I guess. We used to have some, but feel free to use it if you find a bag, though. I'm sure there are some out there.
A colorful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles there, in that dark green glass, all in vain. The great flowing river of warmth, wine, alcohol, beer, alcohol, love.
Guess not, no. I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health.
Don't ask, don't look, don't do anything here. Just go away. Get back to work. You see several packaged raincoats. The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. No need to worry about knocking over a display.
What is what? If you want to buy one, then it's only 4 real.
Her attention is drawn to the raincoats. Stealing one undetected will now be more difficult.
Scab? A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses. Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, I think. Gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to scab. Right, personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something. We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time. I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the wild north? Come to see the strife? Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder. Of course, Policia. It wasn't me. You could...
Should we? He's nice. He didn't do it. It's the truth.
My friend, I respect the right to roam. The open range away. I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants... Aye. Walk right past Measurehead. Yeah, the 2.5-meter tall Semini Supremus is there. Walk. Then press the button to unlock the door, then go past him again, and you enter the arbor through the office. Stop.
The man whispers a jaunty tune. A coastal breeze ruffles his hair.
You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike. Return once you've met the union boss and are on a better footing with the organization.
Nobody betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
Don't say anything. Size him up first.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology? It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, Sandwich. You are not. What is this androgynous display of sexual maturity?
You hear your heart pumping, fast and irregular. Your joints ache and you feel old.
Stop it! You are embarrassing yourself in front of... This display of weakness may appeal to older women with a stronger maternal instinct.
Jean-Luc, his body is betraying his degeneracy pretty hard. Maybe you can ask him to leave.
You have succumbed to Al-Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. Yes, Al-Ghul. Al-Ghul is an ancient Ilmaran poison. A parasite.
Intentionally fermented drinks have existed for 10,000 years.
This is a fabrication the alchemists of Yizot and Bashir. Why don't you have another drink?
Oh yeah, Measurehead.
It's not good.
It's like a rat crawled into your stomach, got drunk and drowned.
No, you don't. You need to get another.
Show him the ham still got it.
Willingly calling yourself a ham sandwich, you gave the world. You dominated lesser cultures. You will be superseded.
It is, baby.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
It is my task to keep the degenerate drunks from it. That is right. You should leave the stage of it. Bring your troops to the Simenine Islands. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al-Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls. Racists are generally not very good examples. I am not like them.
I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenolog. You exhibit forward projection of the jaw, indicative of it is impossible to see anymore. This leads me to conclude you are not a police officer. Your racial heritage is uninteresting. It is the same as all Rivasholians. Your parents and their parents made the decision.
Go ahead. Don't be shy. Just ask for race secrets.
Do not be naive. I know the answer to the great... don't be full.
There must be some friction there. He's keeping it well hidden, however.
Mr. Clare is also... To serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic. Idiotic communism is the above all. Rampant multinational finance, offshoots of the Seminese people. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has the South Island race. We are the future. That I am a descendant. The narrow streets of No. I have heard about it on the radio. I'm from Couronne. And no, it is not just you have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets.
I think this racist is better than the last.
That will be the...
He will grant us 3 wishes.
Your pedomorphic friend has quick wits.
The lieutenant.
You should keep him close. The congenital defect of farsightedness does not render him a complete invalid. He still has the use of his mind.
How did this happen? Your little fist is in his giant hand, and...
You must be out of your mind, degenerate drunk. Say it.
Your fist cracks in his hand like a ripe apple. Pain shoots up into your brain.
The words to the song have changed.
Your hand twists in his grip, and the pain blinds you.
Good. Now leave before you humiliate your homoerotic organization any further.
As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you squint. From a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. What are you? Deaf? They're perfect, like rock star politician and drug addict teacher. Embrace the superstardom you've worked so hard to establish. Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop. Dick Mullen. Salam Rocky Baye. Badass on that. Yeah, you know. Beneath it is just hard. This is the beginning of your legend.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't force us into situations where I may have to shoot random civilians. I'm not even sure the one bullet my chamber holds would even prick that Herc. We are not here on some political quest. We are here to solve a crime. Don't make the situation any more volatile than it already is. And you're just going to let him manipulate you like that? We are not here on some political quest. We are here to solve a crime. Let's think of something.
No. You should do it again. What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez. The air suddenly feels calmer. It's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only incrementally. History's greatest catastrophe. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting tisk-tisk. Just because you live in the present, you may never live to see the Kingdom of Conscience. What sang-froid? What benevolence? Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed? There you have it. Sometimes holding the line is progress. The kingdom is difficult partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual. What you want is immaterial.
시간 노래가 또 세요.